there were two themes this week with our team, and one was, a lot of times you can make the mistake of saying, hey, you got to go out rebound these guys, you got to go out rebound these guys. I never want to put a pressure on our team to hit a result. I want them to focus on the process of what it's going to take to get to that result. And what I really feel, and it showed out tonight, was that we have rebounders, okay? Like, we have guys that can rebound the ball. And it's not a deal that we're not some good rebounding team. We're just not doing it at the level that we need to do it. And the whole message this week was there's no better opportunity to go show whoever, right, fan base, the league, that this team can't rebound. And 41-28 on the glass. Couldn't be more proud of our guards. Jordan Lyons was 6, Trey Clark was 7, Noah Gurley gets 12, and that was a huge message. And I knew the physicality of this game. I knew the toughness that was going to be required of this game. I knew the grit that was going to be required of this game. And I thought it was going to be a middle game, and I thought that we had to be the more connected team, but I also thought that there was going to be times in this game where mentally we had to be strong and courageous. And we talked about that a lot before the game, that this was there's zero room for weakness in this game from a mental standpoint. And I thought, for the most part, did we have adverse moments? Absolutely, right? Were we clean early offensively? No. Were we clean late versus the press? No. But did you ever see a moment where it felt like mentally we were down? And I thought we stayed. I thought we were strong and courageous with our mentality and our connection, and that's what won us the game.
Coach, it was a team effort, obviously, today, to beat a team like that, especially. Stats kind of bear that out, balanced scoring and such. But how big of an impact was Trey Clark today?
Scott, he sat right where you sat this morning at 11:30, and I looked him dead in his eye, and I said, "Today's your day." I said, "This is your game." And the reason this is your game is because there's guys out there that you can physically guard, and you can go rebound with anybody on that court. And, man, did he. I couldn't be more proud of him. And for him to respond, he didn't play how he wanted to in Lexington. He owned it. And I tell these guys all the time, one of the greatest gifts we have as people is to be able to own something, especially when things don't go well, right? And he owned it. He's been focused the last few days, and I just knew he was primed for a big game. And, it's funny. A lot of teams have been putting his defender in the paint, and we've been working on something the past few days of what to do with that. And it's a really simple weak side action, and he got 2 dunks off of it in the second half, and wide open, And so I told him after the game, just the coachability there, you can't pout, right? You can't pout in this game. You can't pout in life, right? You just got to get up and you got to keep swinging. And man, he was tough. He was gritty. He was resilient. And you got to. If you have an MVP of tonight, he's got to be in that conversation.
Kind of goes back to a little bit of what you were already saying. I think just the 7 guys in your regular rotation. The stat sheet's kind of dotted with season highs or career highs, rebounds, assists, whatever. Just the level of intensity that requires for all 7 of those guys to contribute at the level they did in the same game. Just speak about how those guys are able to do that.
Coach Urban Meyer says something really simple, and I've heard him say it multiple times. And obviously he's one of the greatest football coaches of all time. And I've heard him say this numerous times. He says, I've been around a long time. The hardest playing team always wins. And that's usually the case, right? When you lose, unless you're playing a team that's just superior to you in talent, this game can get about scheme a lot. And we like to talk about scheme because scheme's very important. But there's a level of intensity in this game that's just required if you want to be a championship caliber ball club. And, it's what we talked about, right? Like you can't resist that. You can't fight that. You just got to embrace that, right? You've got to go out there. There's a certain level of grit and toughness that it's going to take to compete in this game. And we knew we were giving up some size. We knew we were giving up some strength. We knew we were giving up some age. We knew we were giving up some experience. We couldn't give up grit, right? And we couldn't give up toughness. And, for everybody, right? If one guy in a game of basketball goes down or doesn't play with the mentality he needs to, we had one out there tonight that had a tough start, but I tell you what, and it was Mike. Mike had a tough start, and I almost pulled him when he got that turnover, and I left him, and he made a huge play. In the second half, he made some huge plays, and he responded correctly. And listen, this is a mental game. It is a mental game. And especially when you get in these wars like that, you got to be able to respond. And our group just keeps growing up. I've said it since you guys have been in here all year, right? Like, this team still has room to grow. And the great thing about it is we're getting into January, and we can see where we're improving, right? How about Jalen Slauson tonight, okay? Obviously a double-double at VMI the other night, his first of his career, but the energy, he goes 2 for 5 from 3, right? And if he can continue to shoot like that, how that's going to stretch the defense out, but really just the physicality and the toughness and the edge that he played with, couldn't be more proud of him.
So that point on Slauson, I thought they kind of took the other 4 guys away and were leaving him open, and he was tentative a couple of times to take that shot. And once he hit the first one, it seemed like that changed, almost you could see his attitude change for the whole game. And then the block, which led to the 3-pointer by Lions. Just talk about those 2 plays.
Yeah, Slauson, I mean, he's definitely a game changer for us when he plays like that, and he's an X factor, right? And I just tell our guys, you got it. I wasn't a good player in college, but I know one thing, right? When you play with belief and you go out there and you believe in yourself, right? You change how you play, and you got to earn that, right? You got to earn the right to play well. But the deal with Slauson is he's earned the right to play well, right? It's not like this just happened accidentally, okay? He came back after Christmas, 26, 27, 28, okay? He got 47 rebounds in practice. That was 20 more than anybody else on our team, okay? He was also the leading scorer in 3 practices. So this just didn't, come out of nowhere, right? He earned the right to play this way. And that's what maturing and a guy that's a sophomore that we're depending on, that gives you confidence. When you prepare that way, right, and you get in the gym and you get in the film room and you do the extra work, then you earn the right to perform at the level that he's performing at. And so the timeout, I told him, I said they're playing off of you. Shoot it. Like you've earned that, okay? Shoot it. And sure enough, he did. And then he shot the second one, and he starts to play with his confidence and swagger, and we can all see it. But when he's got that confidence and swagger, I mean, he came up to me one time, and I thought he was going to knock me out, right? And he's just, I mean, the loose ball where he's on the floor and Alex is on the floor and we get possession, that's what gets the crowd into it. That's what gets our team into it. And those are the plays that were the difference maker in the game today.
In a game like this, you have these plays that just are memorable for different reasons. But like you talked about Mike kind of sticking with the layup when he's parallel to the floor because he had to throw it up there. But it's a good play. I mean, he did the best he could and he got to go. Did you kind of maybe know it was your day that day? Or
Yeah, I mean, we emphasize playing on 2 feet a lot. And I told him, we were going to have to drive the ball. The drives were going to be critical, but man, they do a good job of really flowing hard to the ball. But if you don't drive in there and you don't play on 2 feet, then all of a sudden they can swarm you and they can get those deflections and they can get those steals. But Mike's done a pretty good job of playing on 2 feet. He also had a really good play in the second half. We call it a hockey where you dribble behind the net, but he went baseline and kept his dribble alive and dribbled behind the net, and he made the play on the backside. Those are just disciplined plays where you don't get in too much of a hurry. But Mike's, I don't know what his numbers ended up being tonight, but man, he's 3 for 5, 6 points, and I thought he was going to hit that 3, but I think we rebounded that one, and then Alex hit it. I mean, that to me, there's a lot when you sit here and think, what are the play of the games? But like all those effort plays, right? Missed 3, offensive rebound, tip out. Mike misses it, another offensive rebound, quick reversal, hit Hunter, bang 3. Those are games those are plays right there. We call them 3E plays when it just creates the energy and the motion and the excitement that we want to play with. All the balls on the floor, right? All the guys just diving and making those effort plays. Those are plays that we have to make because we're giving up size in some of these games. And man, did we tonight.
But and to kind of build on that, I did want to go back to something John brought up about, Hodges is driving in. That's going to be a 7-point game with 3.5 minutes to go if he makes that layup. Slauson gets the block, and then Lyons just kind of goes for the throat, and he nails it.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a huge momentum. You're up 12 now with 3 minutes to go, and it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, well, he's now 19 threes away from the all-time 3-point record in the history of the school, right? And he's 7 wins away from being the all-time wins leader in the school. He shot those 2 threes, and I knew they were both going in. I had no doubt, right? I mean, you just could see it. And what Jordan's doing, he's making these transition threes better now. And if you watch it, like at VMI and then today, you can see in his gather when he's about to make those shots, when he's poised and collected and calm and he does it in good rhythm, he hits those shots. And early in the year, he was rushing some of those transition threes and was throwing off his rhythm a little bit. But he's in a great flow. He's in a great spot. He's defending. I said this on the radio before the game. He graded out second highest on the team defensively in the VMI game, which that is a huge honor for our program because Alex Hunter always grades out number 1. And so the number 2 is a big award here, all right, because you're just not going to beat Hunter. But he graded out number 2, and he's playing the right way. And, couldn't be more proud of him. He's leading this group. I mean, we had a good moment, as the game was winding down there on the sideline, and just proud of him. Love that kid to death. Love the confidence he's playing with, the way he's leading, the energy he's putting on defense. And so, right, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So now all of a sudden he's shooting the ball well. And, it's fun to watch.
It seemed like you guys made it difficult on a lot of their players, and Rodriguez is probably the biggest example of that, because I think he averaged about 20 points in the 2 games last year, but he had 6 points, 5 rebounds today. Was that scheme, intensity, all of the above? What made the difference there?
Well, he's a really good player. I mean, they're loaded. I mean, they got talent all over the place. And, I mean, they asked me on the radio, they said, the 2 things I see that are different, the rebounding and the bench scoring. And I said, well, their best player comes off the bench. So, of course, their bench scoring's high. I mean, they bring their top scorer off the bench, right? That's how good these guys are. And they've got a lot of talent. They've got a lot of size. And, Rodriguez is an all-conference player, right? I mean, he's really, really good. And so you've got to be able to match that intensity and the physicality that he plays with. And, last year's game, and not to take anything away from our performance last year, is a little bit of an anomaly because, we were on fire, right? I mean, we went 12 for 18 from 3, okay? We didn't out-rebound them last year here. And they scored 9 times on the block against us here, right? But they go 2 for something from 3, right? And so I knew there were some things that we had to tighten up, and that was one of them. Just post-defense was going to have to be better. And, I thought our fronting was pretty good for the most part. I thought we accepted the challenge there. I don't remember. They tried to go over the top on the stagger a few times, but I thought we did a good job of knowing, the game plan and knowing that, hey, it's critical that we make sure we fight for fronts, and we did that for the most part. He got in foul trouble, so that was part of it. But I thought we did a good job. He made a couple of key plays late for him, and he kept playing. I mean, he's a fighter. Those guys play hard. And but I thought overall our team did a good job on being able to keep the ball out of the paint.
Talk about the importance of a guy like Alex Hunter in a game like this, where they have athletes that can pressure you all over the floor. Just talk about, he had 7 assists and 1 turnover, which sometimes goes unnoticed but should not. Just talk about his, handling that pressure that they put on, trying to get back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's a warrior, man. I mean, that kid's just a warrior, and he goes out there and just puts his whole heart onto the defensive end of the floor. And I'm pretty tough on our point guards, and he and I relate well. He's a tough-minded kid, and he just managed the game. He managed the game, and there were a couple times, to be honest with you, my personality, I wanted to play a little bit faster. I thought our tempo was going to be critical offensively, right? And sometimes their pressure could slow your tempo down, and so there were a few times I thought it took us a little bit too long to get entered. But at the same time, though, he took care of the basketball, and that's not something we did as a team extremely well tonight, and but for the most part he did. I thought he got in the paint. I thought he did a good job getting in the paint, making the defense collapse, and then finding the cutters or the backside shooters. And look, we've been around long enough. Every single day that boy puts on that Furman jersey, he's going to put everything he's got into it, and that's why I told him one of the medias. I took him out. I looked at him. I said, "How long you need?" He said, "Coach, I just need 1 minute." I said, all right, 59 seconds. You better be running that table. I need you back in the game. And so sure enough, he took a quick little blow, and he got back out there.
You got a game Wednesday night on the road at Chattanooga. Got the big game at UNCG, downtown next weekend. Is the maturity of your team something that you'll lean on in terms of their being able to, not seeing that as an opportunity for a trap game, that sort of thing?
You know what? One thing that we talk a ton about here is and it sounds so cliche, but as the longer you do it, it's not just about it being on the wall or a T-shirt, but man, the word focus is being challenged in so many ways in society. It seems like every time we turn around, we're just running into distractions, right? And so that's something with this team that we've talked about, and we met on that in our team meeting at Lexington. And New Year's Eve, we had a great team meeting and just talked about, hey, what are we going to give up to make this run? And focus, right? To really be locked in on one thing, and to really make sure that you eliminate distraction and you're willing to give up some things now in order to get what you want later. And I think for us, the leadership council, they're doing a great job of setting the tone there. This group has been focused. I mean, yesterday was one of the best day before practices I've been a part of in my 3 years as head coach. I mean, I walked off there. I text our staff last night. I said, man, that was a high level day before practice. And, that's the leadership of the team. A lot of times you can go out there and, you can just kind of go through the motions and, the nerves kind of get in and you have a bad practice. Sometimes before big games, you can have those where it just feels a little tight. But, man, we had a great practice. And, I think this group's focused. I really do. And we're going to keep helping them as a staff. That's our jobs, to make sure that we keep that focus. But part of focus, who cares about Saturday, right? That's a huge part of focus. We got enough on our hands Wednesday night in Chattanooga, right? That game and the game after that, I have no idea who we're playing, right? And I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna enjoy a night, and I'm gonna watch some SoCon ball on TV. I'm gonna enjoy my family, and I'll worry about Chattanooga tomorrow. But we'll be knee deep, right? I mean, we'll have enough issues there, and so that's part of focus, right? Because like I just said, like the VMI game plan versus this game plan were two completely different game plans, and so we have no time to get one ahead. It's just about the next one, and I look forward to it. We're gonna have to rest them a little bit. That was a fight tonight, so we're gonna have to be smart how we manage Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, especially when you factor a road trip in there. But I'm more than confident this group will be ready to go. Last thing, wow, I had no idea what it'd be like without students, but it just continues to show, the administration, what they're doing in terms of what they're doing to get people to these games. But I think it also proves our fan base is expanding, and it proves that Greenville's looking at what we're doing. And I think it's like I tell the guys, when you play that hard, they're gonna come back, right? And to have 2,300 people here for a game, now obviously it was a top 10 mid-major battle between two teams that are really, really good teams. But to have almost 2,400 people here today with no students, I mean, that's a credit to our administration. That's a credit to Furman fan base. That's a credit to Greenville, and it just shows, right, that people are starting to take note. And that's the fun part of the journey. These games, man, I've been here, no student Saturdays in the past, and I didn't know if it was a game or a church service, right? But tonight, man, it felt like. It felt energetic in there. We had that little rough stretch in the first half, and all of a sudden we made that run, and it got 24-20, and we called that timeout. And I just want everybody to know we appreciate that, right? We appreciate that effort. And as we've always said, we need everybody. And to see everybody in the house tonight, that was huge, and we couldn't have done it without you.